My name is Raquel Coombs, Police Constable 353, and I'm here with your crime prevention tip of the day. When shopping, hold your bag close to your body with your arm through the strap. It is not wise to keep your purse in your handbag either. Handbags can be the perfect targets for thieves to snatch easily. Do not display large quantity of cash in public. When storing cash, do it carefully and look around to see if anyone is paying particular attention to your activity. This is your crime prevention tip of the day. Have a safe and productive day, everyone.
Vinci, get ready! As Unto Calypso 10 makes Calypso great again. It's all going down at the Russell's Auditorium for 3 nights. Thursday, June 1st, June 8th, and the preliminaries on June the 15th. Starting time 8:30 p.m. Come and witness one of the greatest battle royals in Calypso with acts such as Exposer, Marvel, Marshi, Mansik, Roots Garden, Ninja, Abija, Reality, Tompai, Patches, Koja, Da Vinci, The Truth, Ras, Simple, Hyper, Zion I, and Azara. Admission only $20 with music from Next Level with Brass. Who's gonna be the last man standing and crown the ultimate Calypso king?
Unto take over, we bang in the area.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Roundtable Talk. Of course, Carnival is in the air, and this evening our special guests on Roundtable Talk will be representatives of the 3 components that fuel the festival. We have the president of the Calypso Association, Earl Bennett. We also have the president of the Yulupan Movement, Rodney Small, and representing the Mass Band Association, Fernando Serrier. And I hope I have that pronounced correctly. Serrier is correct.
Yes.
Okay, welcome guys.
Welcome.
Good to see you. Good to see you all. Where are we? In regards to how ready are we for Vincimas 2023? And I'll allow everybody to say where they are exactly.
Let me take this opportunity to say good evening to our viewers. It is a pleasure to be in the studio once more to speak about all things Vincimas, not just Calypso. You know, that's my portfolio, president of the Calypso Association, but by extension, it's about Vincimas. How ready are we? That's the big question. Some people have a saying, say, ready like Freddy. Well, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Well, we are ready because the tense have already started. And to trade something has been mixed to sweeten it. We just had a very successful Queen of Calypso, the Saturday, 3rd of June at the Auditorium, and the reviews have been impressive. And I want to thank persons right away to say thank you to patrons who came out in their numbers. I asked them to come with their numbers, they did. I told them the girls would bring their A+++++ game. The girls brought their A+++++ games. So that was a real good look for Calypso and 70 Grenadines. And the ladies, I refer to them as queens. The advertisement said 11 queens, 1 crown. And we definitely had 11 queens going on the stage. We had 11 queens coming off the stage, but 1 queen of Calypso. Congratulations to the Fire Empress. In regards to the tent, Teresa, the tent started since last week. Last week, Tuesday, we had graduates. Then we had upstage experience on Wednesday. And then we had, to round it off, on Thursday night on tour. Yesterday, last evening, we had graduates once again their second show. Tonight is a turn of the upstage experience, and tomorrow night we will have on tour. Then, on Saturday signals the beginning of the preliminaries for the National Calypso Monarch. And when I speak about this tent, I speak with a lot of pride. Of course, I speak with pride when it comes to all of the Calypso tent, but I speak with special pride because this tent is based in New York, Brooklyn, New York, USA, which means it is in diaspora. And why am I extremely proud? Because we have the unique distinction of being the only Caribbean country to have a Calypso tent in diaspora. And Dynamite is that tent, and they've been doing a fantastic job. Let me say kudos to Carlos Rejecta Providence and his team in New York. As you know, Carlos Rejecta is a two-time Calypso Monarch. So they will kick the ball, to use a football analogy. On Saturday, I keep saying toward the screen showing my head so much. Saturday 10th, this Saturday, we'll have their preliminaries. And you're speaking about people like the man age. That's a maestro in Calypso. Dennis Bowman, Rejecta himself. Expose is right here now. Bob the MC, Paul Sonner, Delehanty, that's Earl Isles Exposer, that's his daughter. And a host of other persons will be in that tent. They will be judged for us Saturday. In fact, the judges will be leaving here tomorrow. This year, we have 4 judges that reside in Simonson. We'll be traveling to New York tomorrow. And we have 1 judge who resides in New York, Brooklyn, New York, Max Edwards. They will join him in New York, and they will judge on Saturday. Then they return to Simmons on Monday, and the cycle go all over again. Tuesday, graduates. Wednesday, upstage. Thursday, on tour. So if they weren't ready, they better be ready now. So, but they are in a state of readiness, because at least all of the tents in Simonson have had 2 shows, except for, well, tonight will be upstairs to your second show, and Thursday night on tour.
Okay.
Well, for us in Steel Pan fraternity, we've been ready since February 26th, where we were doing a series of activities, and that was geared towards building our clientele, our fan base, so that, you know, when of course we launch and jumpstart Vincy Mass, we'd have that following coming straight into our activities for Vincy Mass 2023. And then of course, coming off of a high season, a high event called Ivory Soiree with our sister component, the CBI. I mean, that was a major success, you know what I mean, from all angles. You know what I mean, from the patrons, from the players in particular, and most importantly, the marriage of the European movement and the CBI. I mean, in fact, the marriage was always there, because the show is called Steel and Glitter. But what we did, we just cemented it and put the icing on the cake and come together and did something for our people. Because for us, from the European movement, our main focus this year is about people. Not just us as steel pan lovers or steel pan players, but for our people, the people who follow us and who are in tune with pan, and those who are not in tune with pan, how do we win them over? Right now, the bands, we've been meeting weekly to basically put together a package from the European movement when it comes to our role in Vincy Mass. Not just Steel and Glitter, but everything that is going to happen moving into Steel and Glitter and even beyond. Because, you know, we're paying very close attention to bringing back pan on the road for Jubilee. And by extension, you might even see 1 or 2 pan side on the road during the Monday afternoon jam, where there are private entities who are reaching out to the steel orchestras to come on the road on Monday afternoon. And I think I read somewhere in my history that pan was also a part of Monday afternoon jam. I don't know how accurate that is, but if it's not, then we will create the history on Monday afternoon. But in terms of Panorama directly, both junior and seniors, we're still fine-tuning some stuff, and when I say fine-tuning, not from the band standpoint, but from a Eula Pan Movement executive standpoint, because we are looking at rebranding and repackaging, right? Of course, we have to also bear in mind that we are sharing the stage with our sister component, which is CBI. But from this Eula Pan Movement standpoint, we are looking at what is happening globally and regionally with Pan. And, you know, I mean, there are a lot of comparisons because people are now traveling. It's not like before where, you know, a lot of persons not traveling, they're not seeing what is happening around them. So we want to not make it the same, but also put our own unique touch to what is happening with Pan in St. Vincent, where Carnival is concerned. So one of the things that we can look forward to before Steel and Glitter, which we see as the Super Bowl for Pan in St. Vincent, right, is we're going to do a thing called Pan Yard Limes. And we are in high gear preparing for that, where we ask you to come into the pan yard, see what happens, see the process, see the preparation process, see what happens, how much our pan players live like a family. I mean, there are some pan players, some pan sites that put a pot on the fire, I mean, on coals or on wood every night because of the long hours that goes into the preparation. So we're gonna do something called a pan yard line. We're gonna have a caravan going to the different pan yard. We're gonna go live for those who can't leave their homes. What we're asking persons is really to bring the community into the pan yard. Not just the community in which they're from, but the community of pan lovers and supporters. And then, of course, we're gonna, go into the junior panorama mode, where that is for us, that is our baby, because I mean that is screaming continuation and development for Steel and Glitter for senior panorama. So we have some things that we're ironing out where junior pan is concerned, and of course senior pan, which is Steel and Glitter, and then of course, as I say, for the final night, which is Steel and Glitter. That is something that, I mean, there's a whole different atmosphere we're trying to create, because we realize that where Pan is now, not just in St. Vincent, but regionally, and the amount of young people we have gravitated to the instrument. So we want to see how much we can be innovative, we can align ourselves with what is happening in terms of industry practice, entertainment-wise. So for example, if Kaba don't love Pan, but he wants to be a part of the event, we have something for Kaba. Eventually we might win his heart over while he's in the session. I mean, so again, we look forward to the continued collaboration, not just with the CBI, but with the CDC, of course, the board of directors of the CDC, and the business houses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which I think we'll get further into that. But for us right now as PAN, we are rebranding, we are repackaging, because we understand that it is about our people.
Okay, and you'll probably tell us what this rebranding and repackaging involves later on.
Yes.
Mass?
Okay, with Mass, we are working hard towards being ready. We had some problems in terms of getting 10 spaces, and we finally got the Juicy building, where we are housing 3 mass bands. So initially, we were trying to start at home and doing little work, but now we are totally in production mode, where we all the mass bands are working towards finishing the production by the ending of June, right? Now we have another problem with our king and queen. We have no place to build our king and queen. So we're trying to do what we can, whether it's a junior queen or a junior king, to scale it down, because the area we're in, we cannot really build big costumes there. And that's the Juicy building, right? If we try to do it, we would have to take off them in parts, and then that would cause problems for us. So we're trying to get ready. We're working hard towards giving Vincentians and the people from the diaspora a wonderful carnival, coming out there to enjoy yourself and preparing for what we call the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. So we're working hard. We're asking persons to visit the mass stands, come and represent, come and sign up, you know, and so that everybody will be happy, everybody will enjoy the mass, because all the mass bands have some wonderful costumes. I don't know how the judges will make it this year. We all look good. And so we're asking all the patrons, all the people, all friends, visitors to visit the mass stands, all the mass stands, and see what they would like to be part of.
Okay, how many tents do we have this year?
We have 14 bands competing. 2 of them, well, we have 14 competing and 1 not competing. which is a new band called Energy. Right? So all the other bands will be competing with 14 of them. So 14 of us, so we're preparing for that. We're trying to make it, the way it used to be.
Okay, we'll take our first break and we'll be right back.
No place like home because we need you. I really need you. Because we need you. I really need you. Come home to me. Come home to me. Come home to me. Don't no promise from today. I go show like I never show you play. Like I never won. Like I never won before. Just to show you a second. You know what I'm saying? Cause I will never let you down again.
Welcome back. What are some of the challenges you have in preparing for this year's festivities? Because I know everything is not as rosy as it seems. There must be some challenges. And what are some of the steps that you have taken to overcome them? And maybe we can start on my right again, at Calypso.
Okay. Well, to begin with, there's a saying that there is money talks, something else walk. And money is important in anything that you do. And the sponsorship this year is not as good as it used to be like of yesteryear. So much so, you have to personally invest into the art form because you like the art form. And where your heart is, once your heart is in something, you do what you can do legally to ensure that it succeeds. And we know how Calypso is on the totem pole right now. And you were speaking about being relevant, keeping the modern times. And we are trying to get the Calypsonians to adapt. Some of them have been adapting because the most important thing, remember we don't sing for ourselves. We sing for our patrons. If you don't have any patrons, it's come like a useless exercise in fertility. So, but to begin with, every year it's been a perennial problem, brass men. The siblings have a dot of brass men, at least those who want to play for Calypso tents. And because the tents are so closely in terms of when you have the shows and the practice sessions, you are competing for the same brass men. So like if you had far more brass men, you have like if you say 30 competent brass men, you could have your own cohort. You could have your 5, your 6, how many you want to have. So much so that sometimes when you go to a tent, you may see one tent has as much as 6 brass men. One may only have 3. That's because they could only, not that they could only afford trainer, but in terms of who is available. Availability. So you have that. And you need to start practicing, rehearsing early, like anything else. So that impact adversely when you have the start of your 10th season. So that's one of the, those are 2 challenges I have spoken about. But you know when you talk about challenges, you always have to give. I often say gratitude is a must. And my mom told me, in gratitude it was a witchcraft. So I always thank persons. There are some persons and some entities who have been unwavering in their support. They have been very loyal to Calypso. And I speak of persons like Steve Joachim of the Mustard Company Limited, Hans King of the National Properties Limited. We have Teachers Credit Union. We have Flow. Flow has given us $5,000 every year to go towards Russell's Auditorium. So every year we have $5,000, but the Simmons Greenwich College Association pays the extra money for that auditorium. And we have some other, look for example, we had a press conference and somebody have to reach out to persons. You just don't have to target corporate Simmons, although I am of the firm view that corporate SBG does not do enough. When I compare corporate SBG to our neighboring countries, maybe it's not politically correct, but I'm going to say it anyway, it's a shame. You compare, and you hear people comparing Grenada, Trinidad. You ask them to do a comparative analysis and see how much money corporate Grenada or corporate St. Lucia pumps into those carnivals. And you're right.
Why do you think there's this reluctance from the corporate community to invest in this sector?
I have no idea, because I think we have a good product. You know, I don't know if it's where the business people make their own decisions. Maybe they think, well, they don't have to reach out as they are in other territories because they'll get sale anyway. Maybe there's not a need for us to advertise or promote. Because on the other hand, and one has to be very careful because when you speak, sometimes your words are misconstrued. But this is true to power. CDC, I'm not even with Calypso, CDC. What CDC will get from a particular sponsor, you will find a private promoter for one show. When you see the money that they will attract compared to what CDC may get for the whole of Carnival, you ask yourself, what is wrong? And then you know the decision is there because their business, and maybe they target the younger person and they see younger persons gravitate towards this show, and that is an informed decision they have made. But I always say, and I still subscribe to it, corporate SVG has a social responsibility. Has a social responsibility to develop and promote culture in Simmons and the Grenadines. If in your assessment and in your evaluation, you think that the entity or the organization you are giving your monies to has not lived up to expectation, then I could understand that. But corporate SBG needs to do more.
Teresa, I've now been on the program about 2 or 3 times for this year, and we have spoke about this particular topic. And it reached to a point where it gets me so emotional when I hear about why do we think the business sector, private sector, is not supporting the art forms or our identities. And I specifically use that word because they are our identities, right? But first, where I will talk about the challenges that we are facing as a fraternity. Before we had a hard fight getting players in panel, getting people to be involved in playing panel. The Pan Against Crime Initiative, and along with some of the initiatives from the Europan movement, has removed that barrier where we approximately now have safely about 1,800 to 2,000 pan players within the junior category and the senior category. Those in church, those out of church, those doing solo, right? So we no longer have that challenge. Then we had a challenge with getting arrangers and tutors. We no longer have that challenge because if you train somebody 10 years ago, 10 years later where we are now, they are capable of being a tutor, right? There are some bands who have 3 and 4 tutors. We no longer have that challenge. But we have a challenge that, something that probably don't seem very appealing, or for a better word, sexy to the young people, where tuning is concerned. The tuning and the building of the instrument. And I mean, Francis Peslow, they have done a great job in terms of his contribution to the steel pan and cemetery means. We had T-Man, right, tall boy, may his soul rest in peace, who did his part also. But as it is now, we really don't have any full-time tuners in Smithson and the Grenadines. We had 2 officers from the police band who went and they did their course. They're now back here and trying to get back into the whole industry of seeing how they can help with that deficiency. But our bands now, that will take a while for them to, you know what I mean, get into the industry as tuners, because you know the bands have to see your work and they have to trust what you're doing. But as it is now, a majority of our bands sent to Trinidad for their tuners, and some of the bands indicated to me that it is now double the price to tune your bands. And as an executive, we went to see the Prime Minister and have a conversation about this, and it's something that we have to address immediately, because it is hard for us to, not just for Carnival, but for the bands to be functioning and spending out approximately 6,000, 7,000 EC dollars for tuning. That is a big percentage of what you would make in Carnival going outside of St. Vincent and Grenadines, right? So we have put forward some proposal, Prime Minister. We seek some options in terms of where we can send people to go and study and to bring people to help with that. So I'm hoping, and I'm appealing again to the government and to the private entities who we have reached out to. Let's try to fix this deficiency, because the band is not tuned. We can't play sweet music, right? So that is one of the deficiencies. Another deficiency is that the bands are growing. So if you were in a 24 by 24 space 5 years or 10 years ago, and you're doing a training program every summer, and you're adding 30 and 20 players, quite naturally, your home is getting smaller. So we're actually trying to see how we can locate some spaces for some of these bands that are growing and have outgrown their home, right? So those two main things in particular is what is plaguing us right now in terms of the tuning element of it and finding homes for the band. We had another deficiency, but when we want to give thanks to a particular entity, they prefer not to be their names to be called, for us to get some Juve racks for the bands to come on the road Juve morning. So 7 bands will be awarded Juve racks because of that particular business house, that particular sponsor. So we can start eliminating that as a deficiency. So Pan is going to be on the road Juve morning in its all its glory, right? Because the bands now have their racks. The reason why they weren't on the road is simply because they didn't have racks. Yeah. I mean, one or two.
Such a long time?
Yeah, Signal had racks, Sign Euphonium had racks, and Starlight had racks. But the other bands, especially the ones that just came in, they don't have racks. And racks are not cheap. So we're happy to know that that particular business house saw the need, not without we reaching out. I think they were having a conversation. It's like, I love Juve, and what about planning? The person who was doing the research, and they called and, get a quotation, Rodney, bring it forward, and we'll go from there. So, we are grateful for that. But
it's a pity that when people do these magnanimous efforts, they
don't want name call.
Keep it quiet, because maybe it would serve as a motivator for others.
I was just going to say that is a knight in shining armor.
Yeah,
and,
because one of the things is, and we spoke about the rebranding, which I think you were going to wait, but from we have those racks and we could hit the road, there's nothing stopping us. Anytime we want to hit the road, we're hitting the road and playing Pan. So we could do a drive to the leeward side and it's Pan coming on the leeward side. So it's not really geared towards Juve morning only, but it is a vehicle, just like how we have the motorcades very often. We could have a pancade and we come and play Pan. But in terms of the support, Kaba mentioned it, I just think it's a lack of pride, Teresa. I'm somebody who's been saying this for quite a while. I don't think we have enough pride. Because it doesn't take anything from you to support your identities. Pan, Calypso, Mass, Soca, Raga, Soca. And I don't see, as Kaba spoke about your social and corporate responsibility, I don't think, and I probably get some licks for this, my back is probably broader now, I think the government have to place a lot of emphasis on this. Remind a lot of these big companies. Now, Pan, Calypso and Mass and other cultural art forms, their biggest resources is human beings. You have to invest in people, because you know why? When we want something to eat, and we're going by the restaurant, or we're going by the supermarket. You understand? When we're sick, we're going by the doctor's office. Anything that has to do, we as people have to support your business. So why not support our people? Right? We have to. And one of the things, and it might be a very unpopular statement now, a lot of our sponsors and companies are now promoters. So they can't give you the money when they have to use the money to be their own promoters. And we have to get rid of that. I don't mind them being promoters, but also you have an obligation to help with nurturing our identities, which is our cultural art forms, which is our way of life. Right? I mean, when you look in Calypso tent and you look in the steel orchestras and you look in mass, the amount of people, these persons are your clients. They are your customers. Right? Because when I could talk for pan, at the end of a pan season, the amount of drinks, the amount of food, the amount of transportation, the amount of money you're spending at the gas station just to make sure players are okay. Now we have a thing now where PAN is now importing players. We are encouraging Caribbean integration, so players come to St. Vincent and they have to spend the money right there. So why not support them? Why not, I mean, in whatever way possible? And we are grateful for the persons who are being supported, but we still have steel orchestras who do not have a sponsor. To bring a steel orchestra to Steel and Glitter, right, is roughly $40,000 to $60,000. Because if you have a steel orchestra of 80 players, you have to give them a t-shirt and then you have to give them a costume. You have to make sure they get home, you have to give them a meal. Because you're rehearsing from 7 to 12, sometimes 1 a.m. Right? I remember we were able to attract a sponsor by saying to them, we have 80 players, and these 80 players could be your new customers. Open some accounts for them. Start them off. They have no choice. They will have to come back and, you understand? So these are things that we have to deal with. I mean, from my art form, from my fraternity, I've spoken to them. We have done workshops in terms of how do they make themselves a product so business houses can take you seriously. But Teresa, is a matter of pride.
Okay, I have somebody here saying government should support PAN financially. Absolutely. We'll take a second break and come back and talk a little bit more about that back in just a moment.
Thinking of winning the lotto jackpot? Well, there is an easy way. Combo Play. Choose 4 numbers from 1 to 36. That's a combo 4 at a cost of $64. Match any 4 of the 5 numbers and win the lotto jackpot. There's Combo 6, where you purchase 6 numbers for only $12. Match any 5 of the 6 lotto numbers and hit the jackpot. How about Combo 7? That's a purchase of 7 lotto numbers for $42. Match any 5 of the 7 numbers and you will win the jackpot. There are also Combo 3, Combo 8 and Combo 9 lotto plays. Visit the NLA headquarters in Pauls Avenue or WhatsApp 495-6886 for more details. Lotto, you have to be in it to win it.
Hello everyone, my name is Raquel Coombs, Police Constable 353, and I'm here with your crime prevention tip of the day. When shopping, hold your bag close to your body with your arm through the strap. It is not wise to keep your purse in your handbag either. Handbags can be the perfect targets for thieves to snatch easily. Do not display large quantity of cash in public. When storing cash, do it carefully and look around to see if anyone is paying particular attention to your activity. This is your crime prevention tip of the day. Have a safe and productive day, everyone.
Welcome back. We were talking about PAN and support for PAN from a government standpoint, and there's an additional comment. There's a very special case for supporting PAN, if only because of the special community context and the huge numbers of youths who gravitate towards PAN.
Yeah, but he said the PAN has that advantage,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of recruiting and replenishing. And that also you have to give the movement credit by starting summer programs. You know, so they are replenishing.
Okay, you mentioned the fact about promoters and commercial people being one and the same, and that is having an adverse effect on the actual national outcome. Can this be fixed?
Of course, it have to be fixed. It have to be fixed, and it can be fixed. Now, I don't have a problem with business houses wanting to do events, right? Whoever it is, but I still feel that it should be a balance. You know what I mean? You should be able to still contribute and still support something that is cultural, because as Kaba said earlier, it's a part of your social, moral, corporate obligation, right? So I have no problem with it, but it has to. There must be a balance, and I don't think it should be a situation where it must be forced upon you. I think you should find it within your heart and say, all right, you know what? I think I need to do this, because there are other persons who are doing it. Yeah. I'm not asking you to do it in a big way, but do it in some way or the other that you think that is respectful and that can help. You know what I mean? Because again, our identities is very important. Yeah? But, no, so, it will be fixed now. Sooner or later, everything is everything is only for a matter of time.
It has to.
Because you know what happened in our Pan, I don't know. Some of these business houses that are promoters, our Pan people just leave and go support them. And after a while, when they realize you're not supporting them, you know what's going to happen? I see it happen, not here in Timbuktu, but I see it happening in other countries. Our pioneer players, after junior panorama, you know what I mean, after any pan practice, they're going in some fete. So they're giving the support to these people. Yes. You know what I mean? I'm not only saying that the business communities is at fault here, but I think they can do more, as Kaba pointed out. Right? I mean, the government can do a lot more too. Because again, the only thing we have lovely beaches, we have lovely landscape, but human resource. We have to continue to invest in our people. And I mean, sitting right here is about 10,000 people. Because Mass alone probably 10,000.
Mass alone have 10,000.
I mean, I have 3,000, Kaba probably have another 500. I mean, so, I know Mass has its challenges too. So.
And more so if Mass, we support the business places by purchasing material
and so on,
and contact cement and all kind of things. And I think that they should be more involved in the art form, in the three components, supporting and helping, not in, like you said, not in a big way, but the little thing will help. Because even on Carnival Day now, persons come from overseas, they would want to shop, they would want to get stuff, buy drinks, and that is because of Carnival, and because of the components, and also because of Mass, right? Because, I mean, that's somebody, we're not saying that we don't have persons out there who support business places. Yes, some of them do support. They do that every year. But we still need the others now to come out. Those that benefiting more than those that supporting. They're not doing nothing. Because all the water, all the drinks, all the contact cement, all the things we buy, even the plastic to make the headpieces, we buy that coming back. And we don't get no support from them. When we send a letter to them, they will tell you things not too good, but we're buying still. You know, we're still buying stuff, and that is what one thing that is causing problems. You know, and the mass men have to suffer because of some of those things, because they have to dip into their pocket, you know, and help purchase things and get stuff. You know, so I think like everybody's saying that the government should, you know, do something about it. Get the business people, give them some incentive, or let them come out and assist them as the components.
You see, Rodney said to me something. We have demonstrated that we love what we do.
Yeah.
We love Calypso, we love Pan, we love Mass. I could tell you this. being involved. You heard I talk about personal investment. I'm not going to disclose what this is like. But what I know, what I can say, is that when you are involved in Calypso, it is a labor of love. People don't understand that.
Yes.
I have always said, and I've proved, when the tent put on a show, for certain, the venue has to be paid. All the musicians have to be paid. The back vocalists have to be paid.
Engineers.
The engineers, the song, well, they must be paid. What is left now, if anything is left, that is why some years ago exposed saying Billy Button work for nothing. But when you could operate in an environment like that, and every year, you spoke about challenges, every year you are coming back. I am not saying that people don't be distraught and people don't be disillusioned or disenchanted.
Yes.
Because several times at the end of the day when you do evaluation, me ain't doing this again. I am not doing this again. But you hear you talk about intrinsically, it's inside of here. Nobody do have to motivate you. So you say, boy, I can't do this. I'm coming again. The projection is we'll lose money again, but I can't give up the art form. The art form needs survive, the art form needs me. So if I could invest my energies, my monies, knowing that little or no returns is coming my way, why is a big corporation, why is well-intentioned and well-meaning intentions, you can't say, you see, Calypso, we can't measure it in sheer economic terms. Why we can't measure it that way? Maybe it's not a totem pole anymore, but it was brought by our foreparents.
Correct.
There's a long and storied history.
Yes.
Our foreparents brought it here. It is indigenous. And they use, as you know, to ridicule the colonial masters. While they were clapping, while they were being ridiculed, that is why I love the art form, and that's why I want to see more double entendre. You know? So, in short, we have demonstrated we love the art form. We have toiled in the vineyard. We have made sacrifices. Don't you think that you yourself, with some national pride and love for the art form, and by extension our lovely plural nations and Grenadines, you can give a little bit more, or who don't give at all, give us a little thing. People come to beg me, and I like beg. I like to beg because I know I only beg. I have no pride. When it comes to begging, instead of having pride, it's because for the development of our people, for the development of our nation. Our nation needs you. Not we want you. We need you. So please help us.
And not only that too, Carbon, well, Teresa, is that we have displayed for the past, safely, well, even more than the past 10 years, we have displayed that we remember God help those who help themselves, and we've been trying to help ourselves. I mean, I could see it, the mass bands would launch, not just to launch their costume, but to also make something, because they have a bar and they have food. I mean, the Calypso tents are happening weekly, right? So they could generate some revenue to offset expenses, to give the persons in the tent something, and to hold back something so that they could function. The steel orchestras, we've been doing a series of activities, you know what I mean? Because once our players or our bands start getting frustrated, it's a whole different ball game. Now, PAN specifically is within communities, some very large knitted communities, and we have to be very careful, because if the community is unhappy, some of these business houses are in a holistic way, it would not be a good thing. There's a reason why the government launched PAN against crime in communities. You understand where I'm coming from? Now, PAN is community. PAN is community. It's a change agent. That's how I see it, because I've been through it. I mean, I've seen all stages of it, right? And all we are asking for, not just monetary support, but any level of support.
Yes.
Because we helping with self-and Teresa, Ivory Soiree, Queen of Calypso, the mass band launch, the mass bands with Ivory Soiree. So we're showing you that, listen, we understand what's happening, so we're helping ourselves. Meet us halfway.
And it's not easy. I mean, every night you're in a mass tent, working and working and working. It's the love you have for it. You don't get paid. You love what you do. You know, because at the end of the day, when you have to get food and you have to get all the mass bands go through that problem. Every night religiously we add the mass 10, going home 1, 2 in the morning and get up next day, go to work, come back again. I mean, it's something we have and they should be passionate about it too. Or some of them could come and visit us and see what we're doing and they would see the need for the assistance.
Okay, somebody's saying the private sector in SVG has an obligation to support the arts in partnership with the government. I don't know if they feel the same way, but that's one school of thought. Somebody says, I think that the organization should ask the citizens for a small contribution and raise funds by promoting 2023 Carnival for a fee on social media after putting certain sections together for viewing. Well, we'll take a final break and wrap up when we come back.
Get ready! As Untold Calypso tent makes Calypso great again. It's all going down at the Russell's Auditorium for 3 nights. Thursday, June 1st, June 8th, and the preliminaries on June the 15th. Starting time 8:30 p.m. Come and witness one of the greatest battle royals in Calypso with acts such as Exposer, Marvel, Marshi, Mansik, Roots Garden, Ninja, Abija, Reality, Tompai, Patches, Koja, Da Vinci, The Truth, Ras, Simple, Hyper, Zion I, and Azara. Admission only $20 with music from Next Level with Brass. Who's gonna be the last man standing and crown the ultimate Calypso king?
Until take over, we bang in the area.
You can increase your chances of winning the Super 6 jackpot with a combo play. Remember, Super 6 numbers are from 1 to 28. Choose any 5 Super 6 numbers. That's a combo 5 for $69. Match any 5 of the 6 numbers and you will win the jackpot. Choose 7 Super 6 numbers for $21. Match any 6 of the 7 numbers and win the jackpot. There's more. Combo 8, where you purchase 8 Super 6 numbers for $84. Match any 6 of the 8 numbers and you will win the jackpot. There are also Combo 3 and Combo 4 Super 6 plays. Visit the NLA headquarters in Pauls Avenue or WhatsApp 495-6886 for more details. Super 6, bigger jackpots, more chances to win.
Welcome back. So we are going to be getting into the Calypso preliminaries starting this
Saturday.
weekend.
Yeah.
Calypso always has controversy. We've already had our share for the year. Does the association get involved at all in these controversies?
Well, the association is like, the construct is like United States, where you have the federal government and the states deal with their own matters. So at one state they say, you know, so New York, if you live in New York, the state may not apply in California, will apply in Mississippi. Yeah, and that's how it. But if there are certain things that we have a fiduciary responsibility. So if there are certain things that we need to step in, we need to proclaim on, we will do it.
Because you're a regulator of sorts.
You're right, but the first, as I said, like for example, the tent, they deal with the matter in the first instance. Because they call it a state crime. But if we think and we believe, because we've been looking at the matter, we having a meeting and we'll deal with it in our own way. You know, but the tent, as you know, has dealt with the matter, and in their own estimation, and the executive voted a particular and took a particular course, right? But my focus here is about getting persons to the tents, because you hear me say the labor of love. The tents.
Are you happy so far with the turnout of the tents?
It could be better. There's always been, it could be better. Last year, when Onto had their preliminary, we saw a return to yesteryear, when we know at Lyric Cinema how tent life used to be. It used to be packed. And that is why the tents alone, and you hear me saying labor of love because it'll be contradictory if I were to say doing well and then say the labor of love. How could it be labor of love? If the tents are doing well, then the cab is lying. But we don't get the kind of support, because that's why you hear me keep making reference about the totem pole. And I will take this opportunity to segue straight into something I always say. People listen to me or read what I say, is that Calypso is not just what we call Calypso. It is, for ease of reference, the Calypso, what we call Calypso is Kaiso. And then we have Raga Soca, which is our own invention. And I often say that you need to treat your baby better than that. We could claim to Raga Soca, we invented and created it. And then there's Soca. Now, let's look at it. Let me use an analogy now, and I'll use this analogy all the time. People our age know when we were growing up, we all love West Indies cricket. And the big boy in those days was Test cricket. You have Test cricket, you know, the Gary Soberses, the Viv Richards, the Andy Roberts, the Michael Holy, Lawrence Sodwan Canais, and our parents were flocked to the radio, and they would wish that the West Indies would come here, that they could see them. They never did in their time. But somebody who decided and look at it and say, you know what? Football has far more spectators and far more attraction than cricket.
Test cricket.
What about basketball? So let's shorten the game and introduce 60 overs. And then this 60 overs is too long. Let's bring it to 50. And instead of call 50 overs, let's brand it and call it ODI, One International. But a smarter guy said, you know what? I could make that even better. And he introduced, a group of people introduced 2020. And we know 2020 has made persons millionaires 10 times over. Why am I saying that? It's because Raga Soca and Soca, which is the party family, has overtaken Kaiso. So Kaiso, the target audience, are the persons who have been there for years. We hardly attracting younger persons for obvious reasons. But we like to attract younger persons. That's why I said we need to remodel and we need to have some, because the most important thing here are patients. But we alone can't do it. So we're not getting the crowd that we like to. The Queen of Calypso, nonetheless, had a better showing than last year. So what we need to do, you don't preach, and you don't preach and say, when they say, so you could do it, but I'm not doing it. No. If you want somebody to help you, you do the same thing. It means now we have to start doing extra thing to raise funds. We can't be, even though I'm a beggar maid, we have to show you that we put in the effort to raise funds. We can have a bingo, we can have all those things are on the cards for us. Fundraising ventures, we can help ourselves.
The same rebranding that
we need to rebrand.
Yeah.
We have to be conscious of that. If big companies, billion-dollar companies, corporation, always find them to rebrand. You will see a logo one day, you may see another company come here, they will brand have a different name, or they will you come with a different logo. But you know, you need to not just talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. And we have to demonstrate, not just the corporate Simonson, but to Simonson and people further feel that the Calypso Association, the European Movement, Carnival Band Incorporated, we are all willing to put the work in. But we know, based on our economy, we alone cannot do it. We need each other. We could like number 73 Musketeers, but the whole of Simonson are the Musketeers. You know, one for all and all for one. We need help. But we must demonstrate that we have the capacity and the capability to do what is trusted upon us, what is assigned to us.
Mass?
Yeah, yes, same here with us. But we also want to go a step further because we want the mass aspect to grow, right? We have tried before to take it to the schools and we failed because persons were not receptive towards it in the ministry. So now we're going to try again with a different minister. We're going to try taking the mass into the schools, all the secondary schools, the primary schools, so that they in turn, when it comes to Kiddies Carnival, they could have a section or a ban on the road for kiddies. So the involvement of students will help boost up mass and the culture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that's one thing we want to start or to try to get it going, right? And also we want to make sure that everything happens fine. We have a good carnival. We ask the patrons to come out and register because right now registration is very low at most of the mass bands. Very, very low.
I wanted to ask you that.
Yes, it's very low. So we're urging persons, we know persons like last minute, but we're urging them to come out now. Come and select your costume, come and pay, because I mean we have trucks to pay, we have generators to pay, we have music to deal with, and we have drinks, because on the road they would want the drinks. You know, so we need the assistance. All the mass bands need the help. And we're urging persons to come out, register, and let us have a wonderful Vinci Mass, free, violence-free, and enjoy ourselves on the
Okay,
road.
and somebody is saying here that the mass band used to go to the schools a long time ago.
Right.
And another person is agreeing that fundraising has to be on the agenda. You have the last say, Mr. Small.
Well, I mean, PAN is alive and well, and anybody who thinks different, well, I don't know what to tell you. But we're looking forward to seeing the usual support and even more for Junior Panorama. And we want to thank our major sponsor, Finlec, for always supporting Junior Pan, and all those parents who have been encouraging and supporting their children to go into the pan yard, even during exam time, to get themselves prepared for Junior Pan. Steel and glitter is another thing by itself, as we have some really nice, attractive stuff that we put forward to the CDC, because it's still a CDC show. But CDC always give us the support and the leeway to do what we want. Right. I mean, I know persons complain about the changeover time between bands. We're working very hard to eliminate that. We're going to, I will take all the promotion now, Teresa. We're going to have a party stand. So if you're in the Panorama, if you're in the Steel and Glitter, we have a special place for you if you just want a party and do your thing and really, and you know, treat them like VIP Kaba, you know. And I mean, for us right now, Panorama is done. Vinci Mass is done. We're looking beyond that, because directly after Panorama, we have some things called Pan on the Block, because we also think that we have a social responsibility to reach out to the blocks, to the young people on the blocks, make it sexy, take it to them. We have our Stilettos, which is a woman in Pan, and I mean, which you're supposed to be a part of Teresa. And we have our old boys. We have a thing called Old Boys, because we still have some pioneers, some icons who are still alive that we want to highlight them. And then we have our Pan Awards. And then right after that, we have elections. So you probably won't be seeing me here. All the how those elections go. But I just want to encourage persons to support all the components. It's our identity. I cannot stop stressing that. Vinci Mass belongs to us. It's not the CDC, it's not the government, but we the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we have to embrace that. We have to love it. We have to truly mean what we say when we say the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. And I mean, right now everybody's looking to St. Vincent. Our producers, our artists, our pan players, our arrangers, our mass builders, our calypsonians have been proving ourselves over the years, and now I think we have one of the greatest carnival in the world. The investigation, all of the other carnivals that come after or before, there's a Vincentian somewhere inside there doing something great. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I want you to have a safe carnival, support all of the events, both private and the CDC event, but most importantly, support our identities, Pan, Calypso, and Mass.
Okay, great. You have somebody, Jillian, already saying that she's going to be in the party stand. Marilyn Ballantyne, thanks for an interesting program, a topic that needs ongoing exposure and deeper discussion. And Brent Saunders, Carnival needs a whole rebrand. Okay, that's the part I'd leave right there. Thank you, Brad.
Okay.
Thank you so
But
much.
I just want to add to it that we just not just the hottest and safest, but with the most affordable carnival
Yes.
in the Caribbean. People ought to understand that. And it will miss of me if I want to mention, I'm happy that you mentioned this education part of it,
Yes.
is that we understand in order to replenish, we need to focus on the youth.
Yes.
And on to Calypso tent, we'll be having an activity, a matinee activity in the NAS car park this Saturday, and they also want to reach out to the school to have school concerts. And I applaud them and salute them and such a commendable move. That's a wonderful initiative. And we know it's difficult getting into the schools, but we cannot give up.
It's very difficult.
We just have to push and push because it's all a we. Let me go in very like all a we thing.
All right, thank you very much, Rodney, Fernando, and Earl, as usual.
Pleasure.
To also some of our ardent viewers and followers of Roundtable, Fakato, Marilyn Ballantyne, Isolette, Cynthia John, and Miss Robbie in Korea, who doesn't stop looking at her TV once the program is on.
Blessed.
Wonderful, wonderful, Miss Ravi, and all the others.
Yes, so that's our program for today, Wednesday. We'll be back again next week, Wednesday, for another edition of Roundtable Talk. Join us then. Good evening.
Good evening.